Hello, this is the Blimey Cow YouTuber, and welcome back to another video. And today, I'll be watching Messy Monday's 5 ways to support your local chivalry. I'll be reading some of the comments, I'll be commentating on it, and then at the end, I'll go and look at some of the comments as well. But without any further ado, let's just get right into this.
So we've talked about chivalry before on the show, but we've never really defined it. That's because it's kind of hard to explain. But in a nutshell, chivalry is a code of honor that extends not just to your romantic relationships, but to every relationship in your life. Put simply, if you turn on MTV, it's the opposite of that.
And if you're like me and miss the reference to MTV, apparently it's a show on television that's like, I guess it's like reality TV, but like, extra seedy and like sort of low life reality TV or something like that. I don't know. I've obviously never watched it, and that's just the impression I have from the little I've gleaned here and there about it.
Okay, fine, that's not really the best way to explain it either. That's like explaining intelligent design as the opposite of Josh. So I guess today we'll talk about 5 ways to be chivalrous. Or as I like to call it, supporting your local chivalry. Because let's be honest, chivalry is pretty much dead in this country. Number 1, be a servant. If you want any relationship in your life to work out, you have to die to yourself. Look, a relationship can only work out when both people are more interested in serving each other than they are in serving themselves. And that's tough. It involves killing your own wants and desires. But you can't just think about yourself and then expect that everyone else is gonna play along. Look what Mr. Number 1 in your life got. He got some Super Bowl tickets!
Oh, nice! What day is it?
February 3rd!
Oh, that's my birthday.
Oh! Well, looks like you're going to the Super Bowl for your birthday, baby!
Oh, I guess we can go to a football game on my birthday.
You're darn right we can go to a football game on your birthday. And like we said...
So, I'm gonna not get this quote correctly, but, he who wants to be great must be a servant to all, or something like that. Yeah, I butchered that. I don't, but the quote is something about being a servant to all. So it's a solid start, I guess.
Said last week, it's more fun to give than to receive anyway. Number 2, modesty. Now you hear the word modesty and you assume it just means that girls shouldn't be skanky, right? Guys are the victims here. Man.
So, I mean, modesty, like, modesty is an actual word, regardless of the connotations it holds. Modesty basically means, in moderation or in keeping with, honestly, in keeping with reality is not a bad definition, but it's not modesty is not exaggerating your good qualities, basically.
I don't want to point fingers, but if the girls would just practice a little more modesty, it'd be a lot easier to be a guy. It is so hard to be a man. It's not our fault that our eyes wander. Oh.
Now, there's a certain truth to all of that as well. Look, girls. If I felt that my the way I dressed was a cause for girls to stumble or lust. Whether or not I felt that was justified, I would defer to your weakness in that area and not accentuate my body in that way. And I think that's not too much to ask. I think that's a perfectly reasonable standard.
Oh, poor male population. Slaves to the power of whatever the girls decide to wear that day. Well, guess what? Modesty is a lot more than just making sure a few select areas are covered. And guys are just as guilty, if not more guilty, of being immodest. We act like this is a girl problem, but in reality, it's an everybody problem. Guys, we don't have to be so arrogant in life. Let's practice a little humility. And we could start by realizing that our problems don't originate because of how girls are dressing. If we've got problems, they're our problems. Don't blame them on anybody else. And for the girls, I'm not even just talking about the clothes you wear, but you don't have to flaunt yourself for attention. Because the attention you do receive, it'll be fake. It's not based on who you really are. It's based on this person you're pretending to be just to get attention. So just be yourself. Number 3, respect. Let's go to this artist. You guys are artists, especially you. Okay, I'm going to my prom and your heads, your tails. Whoever gets heads wins. Heads. Treat people.
Wow. Yeah, treat people with respect. I mean, that one's... You know what, I'm kind of blanking on things to say, so I'm gonna listen to what he has to say before I try and interject, because I'm just...
People like human beings. Show them respect, value their opinions, and be open-minded.
You know, this is probably gonna go right over your head, but I'll say it for your benefit. I'm really happy that the Federal Reserve is finally doing something to stimulate the economy because, let's be honest, the poor could use the help.
Well, actually, I think it's gonna harm the poor more in the long run because all the inflation is going to go up.
Woman, this is about making money, not spending it. Bless your heart.
It's actually...
Yeah, I mean, like, letting people speak and not interrupting them, that's, basic ask.
possible that you could be wrong about certain things in your life. A great way to let somebody know that you value them is to just show them some dignity. Respect how they think and how they feel about things. And who knows, maybe you'll learn something along the way. Number 4, honesty. All good relationships are based on honesty and trust, right? But I know it's really hard to be completely honest with somebody because that's a very scary place to put yourself in. What if I...
So, honesty. What exactly do you mean by honesty? So, honesty on the one hand simply means not being deceitful. Say that. And that is, I think, or more than not being deceitful, or less than not being deceitful, it's just not lying, okay? you can be honest in that way, I think, relatively easily. It's not very often that you necessarily feel the need to lie or put in a situation where lying seems your best option. However, there's the other side of honesty that involves, I guess, being more vulnerable and sharing more, even when it's not necessarily something that you couldn't get away without saying. And that's, I think, a part of honesty without... Like, a lot of people would just say, oh, that's not necessarily a part of honesty that goes on top of honesty, but I think that is part of honesty, and that's what they're talking about here, where you, rather than just avoiding lying, you, you let people know what you're thinking, and you're more transparent, which means a lot more than simply not lying.
I get rejected. What if I'm not accepted for who I am? What if I'm completely vulnerable? So it's very easy to put up walls and be whoever it is that other people want you to be. But if you think about it, if someone doesn't like you for you, then why would you even hang out with them? Life is too short for you to be somebody else's version of you. It sounds like a cheap remake of your favorite movie. And number 5, kindness. This one isn't really rocket science, just be nice to people. Remember, you can't be chivalrous if you're being ridiculous. So support your local chivalry. Love others, serve others, and be kind. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to find a damsel in distress and win her heart. Shouldn't be so hard now that I know how to be a knight in shining armor. Now all I need is some armor and a pony. That's good to daytime!
Alright, so, the last one, kindness, and I would have to point out there's an important distinction between kindness and being nice. Being nice, I think, is more superficial and plastic. And you can be nice without being kind. Being kind, I think, has to do a lot more with the condition of your heart. And honestly, being gentle might even be a more descriptive way of putting it, even if it is slightly less accurate to the heart of what's meant by kindness. But yeah, I just wanted to make that distinction there. Anyways, though, that's all I had to say for now, so let's go and look at some of the comments now. Okay, so I went and I only picked out a couple of comments this time. Let's go look at them. At Kiara Studios says, I'm a girl and I definitely feel uncomfortable with guys walking around shirtless, especially if they're good looking. Thanks for being modest. Well, first of all, you're welcome. And secondly, apparently you don't need to worry about me because I am not good looking, that is. And then, let's see here. At Shadonis1 says, Code of Chivalry, the Knight's Code of Chivalry and Vows of Knighthood. The Knight's Code of Chivalry described in the Song of Roland and an excellent representation of the Knight's Code of Chivalry are as follows. To fear God and maintain his church, to serve the liege lord in valor and faith, to protect the weak and defenseless, to succor to widows and orphans, to refrain from wanton giving of offense, to live by honor and for glory, to despise pecuniary reward, to fight for the welfare of all, to obey those placed in authority, to guard the honor of fellow knights, to eschew unfairness, meanness, and deceit, to keep faith at all times, to speak truth, to persevere to the end in any enterprise begun, to respect the honor of women, never to refuse a challenge from an equal, never to turn the back upon a foe. Sorry, I'm a bit of a nerd. No, thank you, actually. That is great. That's, I need to, like, print that out and post it on my wall somewhere. That's, pretty dope. I had one more thing to say about this one, actually. Thanks. It is actually, good to know that, not only that there are, girls who are, grateful for, attempts at modesty by, us guys, but also that, there are, girls who actually, think about, those things, from our end, and that it's, I guess, valid when we attempt to, accede to that. And then the rest of the comments, were mostly all, basically focused on, thanking Jordan for, downplaying modesty, and, I feel like my responses to them would, be more fitting on Reddit than on YouTube, so I'm not going to be responding to any of them. But with that being said, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.